Hello, welcome to Melancholy Hill. This is a new map, well, maybe not a new map, but a new map on the rotation. So quite a few new things happening on FAF. I believe either day yesterday, Nomads was released to everybody, so you can play it. It's not an official, the main version of the game where you get all the ratings, but it is available as a mod. So if you want to play with that factions, it's pretty fun. Figure out if it's balanced or not balanced. All those good things. Of course, there's a big tournament coming up pretty soon, I believe 28th, where I think we have about 40 sign-ups of very good players. It's a year-end tourney. Put a link to the website for that in the description. And then otherwise we have a regular game from the new rank ladder. So the ladder has been reset. All the divisions, the leagues have been reset. Well, the ladder, they're still global and 1v1 ranking, which probably won't be reset, but I think you get the idea, and the new season has started. So in this map, we've seen it in the Immortals Trophy. Had some pretty, I believe it was in the playoffs where Tag lost, where the Brains took out Tag, I believe. Some crazy games. But let's see how well these two players decide to play it out. Of course, a lot of trees, so you can't really build everywhere you have land. Also, a lot of reclaim. A lot of things you might have to know. Also some pretty big reclaims, it seems, and with water, lots of different possibilities. Also there is, it appears that this engineer is trying to climb up this hill. Yep, it's going to find out that it can't. So in the corners of the map there's little plateaus, 4 mass extractors and a hydro, and another type of plateau is 3 mass extractors, but in any other case you want to go up there and grab it. You can't just walk up there. You have to either build or drop off. So Manji's not to the game. We have a 2 land, 3 third air from Syntheq, and then Highlander TX, both with very similar global scores. Now I've seen Highlander before. Nice scout from Syntheq. Looks like Highlander is just getting his air factory, getting his 3rd land. But a lot more scouting, you gotta say, from Cybern. It's a good mech marine blocking this passage. Whereas that's one thing about this map, you can really hide things in these trees. Very difficult to see. And a gesture from Syntheq Highlander, deciding to go with the ACU on the right side. The ACU for Syntheq still hasn't really done much. Just sitting back at the base being an engineer. Seen 4 factories now total for both players. The 5th coming up for Highlander. Looks like mostly engineers. But this will be a nice gesture with 2 kills, but it's going to be intercepted. It's a good air defense from Highlander. We do see interceptors now from Syntheq. I'll call him Sin. That'll make it easy. Still nobody on the plateaus here. Minute 6. Well, finally, first engineers. Free mass extractors. I think actually whoever captures air on this map, looking at the way it's designed, is going to have a lot of success. And if you can grab these positions from your enemy, these would be great places to stage dropping. Get some land factory and air factory, some transports and arty, and just drop them off in this area and attack the base. Manti versus tanks. If you can see these in the brush. Bit of a frustrating map to look at unless you're looking at the icons. Tech 2 land now, multiple Tech 2 land factories. So it looks like Syntheq is not. So this is a very expensive thing to do. Each upgrade is about 800. You can actually look at it. You can see it's exactly 800 mass. So it's nice to just do it once, and the build capacity increase that you get is pretty minimal. From Tech, I believe it's a factor of 2 bigger from Tech 1 to Tech 2. Instead, you can just put an extra 4 engineers, which is only 200 mass, instead of investing 800 mass. It does make sense to make multiple Tech 2 factories if they're in different parts of the map. Then, if you lose one, you're not in such bad shape. And you can also get Tech 2 units to different parts of the map, like the engineers. Especially when you lose them, you got to replenish your units like flak. But 2 Tech 2 line factories right next to each other. not very good. So Tech 2 power and a big push now on the left side from Highlander. Looks like he's going to completely run over the Manta. Meanwhile, the ACU for Synthetic Q is in the middle, while the ACU for Highlander completely secured this area. Some point defenses in air. But we got to say, in terms of map control, Highlander definitely taking an advantage, although the middle might be making up for it. But this land force right here is something to worry about if you're Synthetic Q. Another drop coming in from Sin. Let's see what he does. But it looks like those ledges are going to be split evenly 2-2. And in the middle, these are actually reclaimable rocks right here. You might as well get them. 4 mass extractors versus on the side. You also get 4. So it looks like a total of 4 extra. But the rating is really making it much worse for Synthetic Q. Although Synthetic Q with the Tech 2 power and Tech 2 factories might make a difference. He actually already has. These are the rhinos. The laser tanks are going to come out. They're going to clean this up nicely. Up on top, we still don't see any Tech 2 from Highlander. So Tech versus map control in this one. And it is a larger map, I believe it's a 10 by 10. So it takes a little while to get your units from one place to another. And on 10 by 10 maps, air really becomes very critical. Looks like lack of radar perhaps. But a Tech 2 point defense from Sin. That'll solve any problems. And this Tech 2 force might as well just go. It'll kill everything. And this is something I missed. Highlander, a Tech 2 Navy, a cruiser. A cruiser is going to be very devastating. It's going to take Tech 2 air or a mistake to defend against it. Don't see any Tech 2 air yet. See a really nice Tech 2 land. That needs to be very aggressive. Meanwhile, the ACU for Highlander. Upgrades just hanging out on the right side. And right now we really love to see this Tech 2 force do what it can. There's really nothing that can stop it all the way to Highlander's base. Perhaps this Tech 2 Navy, this cruiser, can make a slight difference. But until there's Tech 2 land from Highlander, no reason to not just start running. It'd be nice to have Tech 2 Flacum on it as well. Even though it looks like Sin does have pretty good air. It's very low amounts, and that can be lost at any moment. And with Tech 2 air, it would be a nice counter to this Tech 2 force. Now here comes the cruiser, and that's going to be a major problem. So this middle is going to be lost. There's a Tech 2 point defense here. It's going to be very inconsequential. So Synth needs to make some TMD. I think that's one thing will definitely slow out this cruiser. Bit of an air fight. For whatever reason, Synth is retreating with his Tech 2 force. He's being afraid of a trickle of Tech 1 units, so it's very unfortunate. He does have a Tech 2 up on top that are sneaking around. This is going to be good. Also playing defense. So Sin retreating, and perhaps he's going for it. This is a Tech 2 Raider, a very vulnerable position. And looks like some tanks. Yeah, these are the Wangers. Very weak torpedoes, but actually they will counter the cruiser eventually. There's a submarine which should take care of the Wangers quite nicely. And a destroyer, so that's going to make a huge difference as well. So now we got direct fire, Parker destroyer here on this cruiser. You can start seeing Sin lose a lot of his base. Sin meanwhile taking out 2 mass extractors, or 3 mass extractors with his Tech 2 force. 1 tank is sent up, so this is the most aggressive tank. I believe we're going to see a lot of success from it, unless it gets shot by some Tech 2. See a whole bunch of Tech 2 power now from Highlander. We don't see any Tech 2 land yet. And now Highlander's ACU versus a whole bunch of Wangers. Highlander grows into water. Water is really his best position. This destroyer, no direct fire. I don't understand why it's not shooting. It should be shooting. Yeah, it is. It's shooting at that factory. And the cruiser is also making all kinds of problems. Meanwhile, Highlander here getting shot by the weakest torpedoes in the game. I believe these are the weakest torpedoes. See, there's a whole bunch of them. They're not causing too much problems. But of course, oh yeah, now the destroyer is going to come in. It's going to save Highlander's ACU. Be nice to get a torpedo boat out there. Would really clean up. But meanwhile, this Wang, of course, if it gets out of the water, it can do all kinds of crazy things to Highlander's base. Meanwhile, Tech 2 versus Tech 1. And this Tech 2 force never really got good with age. It could have taken on a much smaller force and caused a lot more damage. Now it's going to retreat. The destroyer with 12 kills is going to face a whole bunch of Wangers. So far we're seeing Wangers versus destroyers. And with direct fire, when the destroyer doesn't use its range, it does get in a bit of trouble. Now it'll just retreat and shoot at distance. Meanwhile, multiple cruisers now. 22 kills already. The middle is completely lost. There's a Tech 2 factory there as well. Some NGs from Highlander would be nice. And now finally the Wangers are going to get across. There are some Tech 2 point defenses, but I don't believe those are going to be enough. Most build capacity going straight to Navy for Highlander. ACU for Sin, making Tech 2 mass extractors with his ACU on the right side. So making up in terms of map control. Meanwhile, this Navy Tech 2 torpedo launcher is going to be taken out. And these cruisers, should be a lot of TMD, otherwise there's no reason why this base is still alive. Attacking this Tech 2 power basically ends the game. And we might see that. I'm surprised we don't see any TMD. Here's the mass extractors are the target. It's a common mistake to target mass. The best thing to target are engineers, and then power, and then your mass. Engineers really is that they're so weak. You can be you're sure that you're successful. When people lose their build capacity, it really slows them down. And that's really the point of any attack, is to slow the player down. More than you get slowed down by that attack. You can see this Tech 2 force. These Tech 2 point defenses are really way too localized. They need to be spread out more around the base. These will just get out of range and start killing things. Meanwhile, this Navy is just now it's indestructible. It's taking out both power. Finally, some TMD going up. And with enough TMD, Cybern is very good TMD. They can prevent quite a few cruisers, and the cruiser just needs to shoot at some other place. So at this point, Sin is in shambles. So it looks like a drop. Tech 2 drop on this ledge. Sin fighting back. And these Wangers are finally going to kill 13 kills in the last one. And Sin seems to be throwing in the towel. Still got the Tech 2 force. I really think Sin was in a very good position before that Navy came out. I think he could have absolutely devastated Highlander. I think it's one game that shows where aggression is always the right choice when you're not sure. The best thing to have is good recon and make a smart decision based on what you see. But if you don't see, assume that you can be aggressive. If you don't see and you just sit there, you're going to lose every single time. I think that's exactly what we saw. Meanwhile, the Navy is still doing great things to Sin's base. So I'm thinking about an upgrade, but not likely he's going to finish it. Still a good Tech 2 force. I think this right here can still create all kinds of problems, but the longer Sin waits, the more Tech 2 point defenses are going to be built. It's a nice position on this one, right on top of the hill. And still more and more Navy from Highlander. I don't really think he needs any more. He's already got an indestructible force. At this point, investing in strong air, Tech 2 air, guntrips. Then you can kill Highlander no matter where he goes. And if anything is going to turn in this game, it's going to be with this Tech 2 force sneaking in and killing all of the economy. And then somehow Sin surviving. He does have pretty decent eco here. He's got really good investment into quite a few things. He got Tech 2 engineers running away. But otherwise, it's no map control. Sin canceling the upgrade. Does have a Tech 2 ACU. It's going to retreat up on this high ground. And his base is slowly disappearing. Now really, this is not a place you want to cross, neither choke point. whole bunch of Tech 2 up on top. So finally, some of these bots get in shooting range, and if you can take out this power, that would be really nice. But of course, it is between two sets of Tech 2 point defenses. It would be quite difficult. ACU for Highlander is going to take out any of these raiding tanks. And now that was the final attacking force from Sin. And now he's smashed up against the wall. You can even see the radius. A couple more tanks running in. They will outrun the missiles. Let's see if they can actually do any damage. Perhaps a Tech 3 mask extractor. TMD going up for Sin. Is asking for a quick end. I concur, but it isn't. Maybe I'm still hoping that something crazy happens, but I just don't see it. Yeah, Highlander under a shield in the water. An impossible place to attack for Sin, so no snipes. Tech 2 PD is going to defend against the Tech 1 force. And now Tech 2 bombers, this is the logical way to end it. And Sin dies here minute 31. So hopefully people enjoyed this one. It's a game from middle of the table, and of course, new season has started.